Disability rights advocates are hoping this will be the year that more students with intellectual disabilities will get access to college classes. To do that, lawmakers have to pass House Bill 1331. But as WBUR's Carrie Young reports, while lawmakers like the idea behind the proposal, the legislation keeps getting bogged down in concerns about cost.
Ipswich resident Matthew Cullen says he knew he wanted to go to college since his early teens.
My friends and my brother and sister went off to college, and I said, why can't I?
Cullen has Down syndrome. At first, it didn't seem like college would be in the cards for him. In Massachusetts, you have to pass the state standardized test called the MCAS or get a GED in order to enroll. But then he caught a break. Cullen's school told him about a pilot program offered at several state colleges that allows students with intellectual disabilities to take courses until they're 22. Cullen jumped at the chance and spent 3 semesters at Salem State University.
I took classes in public speaking, nutrition, sports injury, and rock climbing.
He took the most pride, though, in the skills he learned in mobility and travel training class, which taught him how to navigate the commuter rail on his own and use Uber. Today, he's able to take the train to work if he wants to.
That's my favorite. Independence. It's definitely fun. Like being on the train.
If House Bill 1331 passed, it would open up experiences like Cullen's to a lot more students. The legislation would make it so that people with a documented intellectual disability, autism, or other developmental disability could attend college without passing the MCAS as a non-degree seeking student. And it would lift the current program's age restriction.
It was going to be one of the tools that a district should look at in order to serve that population well.
Advocates for the bill argue that access to higher education is a civil rights issue. And legislation sponsor Representative Patricia Haddad adds there are other benefits too. According to data from the University of Massachusetts Institute for Community Inclusion, 64% of people with intellectual disabilities who attend these programs nationally have paid employment afterwards. That's compared to just 18% in the general population.
But, it's not that black and white. There's a lot of things to be considered.
The bill has failed to pass the House during the last 5 legislative sessions, mostly because of funding. This programming is considered an approved special education service by the state, meaning districts would carry much of the cost.
We're completely 100% behind the intent of the law and how the law is designed.
Tom Scott is the executive director of the Massachusetts Association of School Superintendents. He says many of his members worry the programming might carry significant extra costs, and previous versions of the bill didn't specify exactly how much districts would be responsible for covering.
We generally have taken a position that anything that's an unfunded mandate, we have serious reservations about so that we don't have incurring more costs to an already somewhat challenged budget process for schools.
This latest version of the bill, however, spells out that schools would only be on the hook for what the state special education law already requires, and funding for students older than 22 would have to come from sources outside the district, like private payments and other types of state funding. Ipswich resident Matthew Cullen says he's hopeful the law will pass this year. He's too old now to participate in the pilot program, but if the legislation passes, Cullen wants to take more science classes at Salem State.
I would like to go back because my dream is to work in the medical field.
He hopes to eventually be qualified for his dream job, a position at the Beverly Hospital. For 90.9 WBUR, I'm Carrie Young.